Welcome back to Poised Chaos HR. Now let's talk about who are your advocates during the interview process.
Remember yesterday, I talked about the different stages of the interviewing process. And typically, the first stage is you connect with the recruiter, and then the second stage is that you're connecting with the hiring manager. So let's walk through a little bit around what those conversations should really look like. Now, when you're talking to the recruiter, I mentioned yesterday that they're really trying to just gauge your experience, kind of understand how you're translating through the phone. So the conversation is not going to really be in depth, but that's a really good time for you to be able to showcase your personality with the recruiter. Because remember, the recruiter is your advocate. They're trying to get the right person in that job. So they have just as much invested in it as you do. So your goal is really to build a really great connection and partnership with your recruiter. So as they're helping you through this process, they can be an advocate for you. So remember, every company that I have ever worked for, I've been hired to. Me and the recruiter have been lock and step and have built a really genuine connection. And they actually was advocating for me to get the things that I wanted in the roles that I really was trying to get. Now, the next step is you'll talk to the hiring manager. And once again, that's probably like a 30 to 45-minute conversation. And the first thing that they're going to do is really have you give them an overview of your resume. Don't spend your time on all of the nuances, but really talk about your growth between roles, any volume of revenue that you have overseen. Really talk about the things that have challenged you, but what you have learned from. But one of the strategies that I've always used is I let the hiring manager talk about themselves. No one loves nothing more but to talk about themselves. And I try to let the hiring manager do as much talking as possible so I don't have to talk as much. So when you're talking to the hiring manager, ask them about how long they've worked for the company. Tell them what are the things that have been challenging for them. Ask them about their career experience. Ask them the dynamic of the team. Tell them to talk about their journey in the organization. Let them just spend so much time talking about themselves, and all you're doing is really filtering in or giving some filler words to help navigate that conversation, because your goal 100% is to take that conversation with the hiring manager to an interview in front of actual people, because that means that you're one step closer to the actual closure of an interview. So remember, your goal is to be an advocate, an ally with your recruiter. Let your hiring manager talk about themselves, and then you are well on your way. All right, everyone, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks everyone for listening. Please subscribe and follow me on Instagram and Twitter.